So I don't. Um, that's kind of the secret of it. I generate schedules so that everything is maintained on a proper level, and I kind of focus on the things that uh, are bringing me joy in my collection, which is kind of a lot of it. I subsect everything. The corns have one kind of regimen of care. The Pituophis have a regimen of care. The babies have a regimen of care. The geckos, the racks, all the New Caledonia stuff has a regimen of care. The terrestrial stuff has a regimen of care. So what keeps me focused on the collection is the general regiment, the scheduling, the routine of it, so that that routine can be missed by a day or two because of work or life or family. That's going to always come up, but generating a routine is kind of what I guess focused on the collection. Focusing on any one particular species, I just don't do, right. Like I know as Arctic, always scatterbrained about everything, and that's kind of general in life. I'm very scatterbrained, but try to make sure that everything I'm doing to my fullest extent. For me, it's Pituophis. If I got down to where I had 2 snakes left in my collection, it would be probably my Mexican pine snakes. And I thought about this long and hard. For me, it is Pituophis. I think there's a caveat to that answer, though. I think for the hobby, it's Pantherophis. I think the more generalized animal that's going to be better for more keepers, first-time keepers, late-time keepers, maybe keepers that have been keeping for a long time and want to find something that will bring some joy to them without too much hassle. Maybe that answer is Pantherophis. But definitely for me, it's Pituophis. Size, attitude, reminds me of professional wrestlers. They've all, Tuesday may be different than Wednesday. They've got this air to them that generates a responsibility out of me to respect them, but also really keeps you on your toes as far as how fun they can be. So choosing pairings with corns is not always easy because we can, you can't have an endless collection. You can't have, well, I guess you could, but as just a normal guy, I can't have hundreds and hundreds of adults. So there's a lot of different things I want to see my collection produce. So each year when I'm looking at my pairings, it may not always be the pairing that would stand out as obvious, right? Maybe you have a Anery tessera, you're going to pair it to an Anery tessera, you're going to get a clutch of Anery tesseras, or mostly Anery tesseras. You may get a few normals in there. But also you can take that animal to another, maybe you have maybe a pied blood red, you can produce a bunch of hets, you get to hold some back. Maybe you're not going to be, that decision wasn't the most prosperous, right? The most economic decision, but trying to spread it out. So for me, when I'm choosing my pairings, I'm looking at things that not only I'm the most excited to produce that season, that upcoming season, but also in the future. What are building blocks I can put into my collection through a pairing? It gets a lot easier with the locality stuff, or like specific projects. Like we have the reverse stripe meal morum stuff. That's real easy, right? Like we're lasering in on that. We're not gonna deviate from that. But with the corns, it's think about it before even going into brumation. What's exciting, right? What exciting can I produce this coming season? What is exciting that I can produce 3 years from now, 5 years from now? So that's how I kind of think about it. It's good planning, and what are you thinking about at that time? Most underrated collubrate in all of the hobby right now is Emery. There are so many great things going on in the Emery complex. You can get into locality stuff. Swinsky Emery, Intermontane, Milomorum. There's 4 different subspecies in there. There's pattern morphs. There's genetic simple recessive genetic morphs that are just beautiful. There's untapped combos that even haven't happened yet, and what an easy animal to keep, breed. They're usually pretty palatable. Wild caughts can be a little nippy, but I think maybe at one time it was bear dye, and some of the obsoleta. I think as those grow in popularity, we reminisce on their popularity in the '90s. But Emery never really had their stride, and I think that's an animal that, as long as we keep some of the lines going, that we keep working with them, that's something that we're gonna hopefully see a lot more of in the community. Dude, I don't know, the albinos, the especially the chocolate albino, the snows are amazing. Then when you got the silver leaves and all the aneries, and now there's hypogenes rolling around in Emery, and come on. I'm such a simple person with my collection as to what I have, what I keep, what I don't keep, what I decide to get rid of. There's been plenty of animals that haven't worked out. For me, it's just the things that every time I look at them, I'm excited. Some species haven't worked out for me. I'm not a big Gatula complex king snake fan, and the more that I've kept them, the more I'm like, wow, I really don't want these guys. There's an excitement level that you draw every time you open up that tub or open up that cage or pull that animal out. Or you're so excited to show it to people. You're so excited to take pictures of it. Every time you feed it, it's. So for me, what I decide to work with is stuff that I want to have. I'd keep every baby if I could. I want a room full of these things. And so it's just whatever I see that just boom, every time I see it, eyes light up and heart starts beating and makes me want to interact with it, makes me want to get other people interested in it. That's a good question. I think burnout is something that can happen to anybody, and that can be triggered maybe not even in your own collection. That can be triggered through life events and mental disturbances, things that come in that just kind of bring you down, maybe put you in a distressed state. Marriage issues, life issues, work issues. A lot of things can cause burnout outside of your collection. For me, I went slow. I've been doing this for 20 years, give or take, and I never really started padding the collection to have this many animals until maybe more recent years. And I didn't do that until I knew I was ready. And even if I did decide that, hey, having 80 to 100 animals isn't for me, I know that I can look back on my life as a keeper and know that I would still have some animals, right? Whether it was a gecko or a pair of snakes or something, that's always been intertwined into my kind of DNA. So for me to avoid burnout, it's hard to say because I've never kind of felt that pressure, but I have a very understanding family and wife and a group of friends and job. So I have a leniency in my routine that routine I talked about earlier. There's a give and take of it. Also, you can set your collection up for success to where you can step away from it for a day or two. Build a collection and build a routine and build a caging regimen and a care regimen that mentally you're prepared to be able to say, okay, I am going on vacation for 5 days or 4 days or 3 days. Or, I've got a person that's going to come over and water the geckos and double check the snake's water and make sure there's no just blowouts and nothing crazy happen. They'll come every other day, right? So we can enable yourself to step away. And I totally understand people getting burnt out. You get into this hobby, maybe you're a little new into it and you end up with a couple hundred snakes. Yeah, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to have a bad breeding year. You're going to produce 2 clutches and get a bunch of slugs, and it's going to be the worst, and you're going to get burnt out. Going to a bunch of shows, vending a bunch of shows. Burnout is going to happen fast because it's just taxing on you. The travel, the time away from your family, or hell, the time with your family. Sometimes you're stuck in a car for 8 hours driving to a show. Do that 2 or 3 times a month for 3 months, and that it's just emotionally taxing on you. So keep it a hobby, keep it fun, keep it a game, and be willing to step away for a day or two. Come home with a shitty day at work. Oh, this was rough. You know what? I'm going to shut the room. I'm going to, I'm not even going to think about them tonight. And they're going to be okay. I know that. And then the next day, hit it hard. Do a double take on everything. Just, take care of yourself first. Take care of number one, and everything else from there will never feel like it's like you're going to burn out.